Hey everyone, it's Cherise here. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing a bit of a summer reading update. Okay, so in the last video, the last book I had read, well the last book I had updated you guys on was The Song of Achilles, which was amazing, beautiful, loved it. So since then, okay, so what I got into next, I have my iPad right in front of me, so I'm going to look at these notes here. So next I read Sunny Disposition by Deanna Gray. Okay, granted, this is a contemporary romance. I know, and I said I was going to be reading fantasy romance. Okay, so about that. I did try, and I'm still trying to read some fantasy books, but it's been a little difficult, okay? I can't remember what order this was, but I did start what is it called? Kiss of Iron. Yeah, that's what it's called. Kiss of Iron. I think so. I'll have it up here on the screen. I did start that and I got pretty far into it actually, but it's going to be a soft DNF for me. Okay? Yeah. A soft DNF, meaning that, you know, DNF means did not finish, and a soft DNF just means didn't finish, not due to it being a bad book, just mostly due to me not being in the mood for it, because this is a fantasy romance, but it was giving way more romance than actual fantasy, and there, in my opinion, there was no plot. I mean, some people may beg to differ because the main character, she is kind of being a spy in this moment because she needs to get some information for the, is it the queen? I already don't remember, but yeah, so she is kind of being a spy at this moment. Yeah, I'm getting very hot and sweaty right now. It's so hot. And I had to turn off the fan because I don't want it to be loud, but will it be loud? I'm gonna have to turn on the fan because I'm really, really hot right now and I can't deal. Oh no, it's really loud. It's so hot. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna be really upset if I go back to edit and the fan wasn't even loud at all because I'm so hot. Anywho, what was I saying? I'm losing my train of thought because I'm so hot. Pretty much, yeah. So it was just giving more so romance than fantasy. There wasn't any plot. I don't think her being a little bit of an undercover spy is much of a plot. That's not the plot. That's just something that gets the plot going, but I don't know. It just wasn't giving me enough, and I feel like the romance was moving pretty quickly. I love a slow burn. I'm a slow burn girly, so that's my own fault. So that's like my own problem, but I don't know. I wasn't feeling it as much as I thought I would, and I don't think this is the book that people said would be like Cassian and Nesta from A Court of Silver Flames, because that's not what it was giving. Maybe, you know what, then again, the main character, I can see her being friends with Nesta, but the whole, like the relationship as a whole, I don't see that as Cassian and Nesta. So maybe it's Blood and Steel, the Blood and Steel books, that's a Cassian and Nesta type of vibe. Anyways, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then whatever. Anywho, yeah, so I tried. So that was a soft DNF. So anyways, let's get back to what I actually finished. So I read Sunny Disposition by Deanna Gray. That's the first book in the Mendel Hawkes series. And I believe all the books in that series will be interconnected standalones, and they're all hockey romances. So I've been wanting to read these books for quite some time, so I was like, okay, let me read the first book finally, and it was so dry. I'm sorry, it was so dry, it was so boring, there was nothing going on, and I get it, a lot of romance books there's nothing going on, but usually I don't mind when there's nothing going on, when like the characters have a lot to give, and I feel like we were told things instead of shown things. Oh my gosh, I feel like okay, I sweat so easily. I'm just hoping that it's not showing through this shirt. Anyways, hold on, let me just check myself. Oh gosh, and I feel like my deodorant is showing, so sorry if my deodorant is showing. At least you know I'm wearing deodorant. Okay, oh, it is showing. Oh gosh, ignore. Anywho, now it's on my mind. What was I saying? Okay, so yeah, the characters were not giving anything. Like, we were told things instead of shown things. Like, I feel like the romance didn't naturally happen. So pretty much, the main character, she's staying, okay, the two main characters, they're living in a house together with the guys best friends. And this all happened because the girl needed somewhere to live, so her best friend's parents own this home. They live in a college town or whatever. They're going to college. So she's living in this house with these guys because she needed a place to live, and her friend's parents set this up, whatever. And then the guy's best friend, he set up living arrangements, so here we all are. They're all roommates. So, you know, that's a cute, fun storyline, a cute, fun way to get them together. But I just feel like it gave nothing. I was quite bored. And oh, also, the main guy, he had amnesia because he had a hockey accident. And before he had this accident, he was actually going to meet up with this girl he met online. They never saw each other face to face, but they played games online, so they were going to meet up because they liked each other. And she's the girl that he was going to meet up with. But the night they were going to meet up was the night of his accident. Wait, am I mixing up books? No. No, that's what happened. Okay. I read a few hockey romances, so I'm just trying to make sure I didn't mix up anything. Okay, so yeah, so he got attacked by some, I think, hockey players from another team, right? I'm not mixing up books. Yes, right? Yes, I think so. So anyways, yeah, so he had amnesia, now moved in with this girl, and he realizes this is the girl that he's known online, but she doesn't know it yet. So he's like, he has this secret, he hasn't told her who he really is. So that's the whole point of this book. Like, as the readers, we're gearing up to see what's gonna happen when he tells her the truth. Like, is she gonna be upset? Like, what's gonna happen? Y'all, this is a mild spoiler. You know what? No, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. All I'm gonna say is it was so anticlimactic. Nothing really happened. Yeah, the big reveal was not a big reveal. It was the tiniest little reveal. The outcome, there was no conflict. This book was so boring. I'm so sorry to speak so badly about it because I am going to read the second book in the series. As badly as I'm talking about this one, I am still intrigued enough to read the second book, okay? But this book was just so dry to me that, you know how people hate the third act breakup in romance books? I wanted a third act breakup to happen because I needed something to happen. I needed something to happen in this book, and it was just, I don't know, maybe that's me being toxic, I don't know, but I needed some conflict, something. Anyways, that's all. I think I gave the book 3 stars though, or maybe I gave it 2 stars, I don't know, I don't remember. But still read it because a lot of people in the Goodreads reviews really enjoyed it. Some people like romances where there isn't any conflict and where it's more just simple and sweet and fluffy. So you may like this. Just because I didn't doesn't mean you won't. And again, I'm still going to read the second book in the series because the second book in the series is a black couple. It's a black romance. So I'm still very much intrigued, okay? Take what I say with a grain of salt. Yeah. Okay, so the next book I read was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is also going to be, well, this is also a part of an interconnected standalone series. And there's 2 books in the series out so far. I actually really enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I know this is like a TikTok book and a lot of people don't like it and some people love it, but I'm on the side of people who loved it. I had a really fun time with this. I personally think it was really well done. I think it was quite long though, I'm not gonna lie. It was a little bit too long, but I really enjoyed it though nonetheless. The main girl is an ice skater, the main guy is a hockey player, and at first she did not really like him because the hockey teams, like a rival hockey team trashed one of their ice rinks in their college. So the hockey team now has to share an ice rink with the ice skaters. So, I mean the figure skaters. So, yeah, what did I say before? She's an ice skater. She's a figure skater. Is there a difference? Ice skater, figure skater, whatever. She's a figure skater. Anywho, so now they have to share an ice and they have to like plan out when each is gonna, you know, practice and all that stuff. So she's very upset, you know, she's trying to go to the Olympics one day, so she really needs to rehearse, and she's really upset that the hockey team is now taking up the ice and things like that. So she was really not feeling him, very apprehensive, but he is a team captain and he's just trying to like, you know, make amends and just try to work with her. So eventually they do get to know each other and they do fall for each other, and I personally really enjoyed this book a lot. I loved all of the side characters. I loved everything about this book. I just had a really great time. The side characters were really enjoyable. I really loved them. And this is an interconnected standalone series, and there are 2 books out so far. The third book, or maybe the third book the third book comes out in August, I believe. And I'm gonna read the second book, I'm gonna read the third book because I really enjoyed it. I don't know, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I just had a really fun time. Yes, it was quite long, but it felt like a very long movie to me. I don't know, I really liked it. And I liked how their romance came to be. But the only thing I absolutely hate about it, and what knocked it down a star for me, was the fact that, what happened? The epilogue. Hated the epilogue, ruined it so bad. I don't understand. This isn't, I'm not going to spoil it, I'm going to be very vague, but I don't understand why in interconnected standalone series, authors will do a time jump in the epilogue, but it's only like a 2-year time jump, and so much has changed in their lives. And when I say so much, I mean just one detail that did not need to be, because they're so young. It was just the worst thing an author could do. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Anywho, yeah, I did start the second book, but I just wasn't in the mood to read it just yet. But I will get to it eventually. But the third book is about one of my favorite side characters, so I'm very excited for that one. And the covers for all of these books just look so cute to me, especially the third one. Okay, anyways, apparently, obviously, I really liked this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, because I knocked it down. I mean, I wasn't going to give it 5 stars, but I was going to give it 4.5 stars, so I've knocked it down half a star because of that epilogue. Anyways, okay, so next I read, so I randomly decided to start a dark romance series. This is not interconnected standalone, this is a series. You have to read the first book to move on. Even though I saw in some reviews, people were reading the third book only, and I'm like, how can you read the third book only? It's a series that you have to read the first book. Anyways, so I read the Hollow Boys series, and I randomly decided to read this because I saw one TikTok edit, and I was like, okay, it's moved up to TBR right away. I'm gonna read this. I had never heard of it before, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read this because someone said, or in the TikTok edit, it was like, what did it say? Something like, how could you like the Devil's Night series when the Hollow Boys exist? Something like that. And I was like, oh, I'm sold, because I love the Devil's Night series. And just to help myself with editing, this is one of the books from the Devil's Night series. The first book is called Corrupt. This is the 5th book in the series, or the 4th book. There's pretty much 4 full books in the series and 2 novellas, so there's 6 books in total, however you want to look at it. Anyways, this is my favorite book in the series. It's a chunker, but I love this one. And anyways, what I wanted to say was the Hollow Boys, I think, is a perfect example of a series that seems, I don't know, I'm just assuming, but I don't know. It's a good example of a series that is inspired by another series, but not a copy at all. And I don't even know if the author of the Hollow Boys, like, I don't know if she was inspired by the Devil's Night series. She might not have been at all. But it is similar in the sense that both series are centered around 4 guys. So, but yeah, in the Hollow Boys, this is by Monty J, and I read the first 3 books, but there's 5 books out right now, I think, and I am really enjoying it, I will say. What I like about the Hollow Boys versus the Devil's Night series, and if you like one, I think you will like the other, but what I like about it is that in the Devil's Night series, the guys, like, if you mess with any of their girlfriends or whatever, they'll like beat you up, they'll, you know, like hack their way into your bank accounts and, you know, do stuff like that, you know. And they're bullies for sure, you know, it's a bully romance type of thing. But in the Hollow Boys, it is a different situation, okay? They do not care about beating you up, they do not care about hacking into your bank accounts. Their minds just go straight to one conclusion. When, where, and how will they murder you? Literally. That's it. That's it. That's where their mind goes. Like, they say they're guys, like, okay, so how are we gonna do this? When are we gonna do this, and where? Just let me know. I'll get the tools. Like, yeah. What I like about the Hollow Boys is that this series, the guys are psychopaths, okay? They are crazy scary. They're actually scary. I know I keep comparing this series, and I shouldn't do that because maybe this author was not inspired by this series at all. But I like to compare because I feel like if you like one, you like the other. So, But anyways, in this series, in the Devil's Night series, the boys, if I were to be in a room with them, I wouldn't fear for my life. I would be scared because they're super intimidating and you don't know what they're going to do. Again, these are bully romances, so you just never know. But with the Hollow Boys, I would be scared for my life. Like, I would actually be terrified because you just don't know what they're going to do. Like, they're actually scary. So, like, they're actually all psycho. So anyways, but yeah, the first book in the Hollow Boys series, that one is called The Lies We Steal. This one, I gave it like 2.9 stars. I know 2.9 is an odd rating, but I couldn't give it a full 3 stars, and it wasn't bad enough to be a 2 stars. It was like one of those bad fun time type books, okay? The writing is questionable. Oh, you know what? Let me look at all of my reviews for each one because I feel like my reviews that I wrote were perfect in describing how I felt. Okay, how can I view my reviews on here? I feel like on the iPad, see all your activity on this book. It's kind of weird to me. See, it's not showing my review on the iPad, but it shows it on the computer. Okay, I have to take a moment to cool down, okay? Because I'm so hot. Anyways, I found my notes. I mean, not on my iPad, I just got my computer because, I don't know, the iPad is weird with Goodreads. Anyways, just to give you a general idea, the book is about these 4 guys who are all best friends. One of them, his girlfriend, passes away and they're trying to figure out what happened to her. And by trying to figure out what happened to her, they find the people who were involved in her death and they go after them. And along the way, each guy starts having situations with, not situations. Okay, in the first book, the female main character, she's new to the town, so no one knows her, and the main guy falls for her and she falls for him, but it's very toxic and strange, and a very strange start to it all because she witnesses him and his friends doing something illegal, okay? And that's how that story goes in the first book. In the second book, the female main character is someone that they've all known, all the guys have known for many years, since childhood, and one of the guys has a relationship with her. At least he had a relationship with her in high school, but the other guys did not know about it. And then she comes back to town and, that storyline begins there. And in the third book, I won't go into that romance because now that could be a little spoilery. So yeah. Out of all the books, the second book is my absolute favorite. But anyways, the first book I gave 2.9 stars, and yeah. So I said, this is definitely a 2-star, but I only give that to books I don't like. And so this was one of those bad books that I had a fun time with. Some dark romances really make me laugh with how dramatic and overly and unnecessary poetic they are, and just plain ridiculous. This is obviously inspired by the Devil's Night series, but not a copy though, which I greatly appreciate. The men in this book are 10 times darker and more dangerous than the Devil's Night boys, and I said at the end of it, I liked seeing Briar and Alistair together. Briar is the female main character, Alistair is the male main character, and even though they had like a rocky thing going on in their book, at the end of it, I wanted more. So that's why I can give it a full-on 2 stars. Not a full-on 3 stars, but I did want more of this couple at the end of it, so, good enough for me. Okay, so in the second book, I gave this one 4.5 stars. I loved this one so much. I thought it was perfect from start to finish. Like, I loved everything about it. So this one I said, now this is what I'm looking for when I ask for dark romance. Besides the repetition of metaphors within the writing, because this author, I've noticed within all the books, She's great with the metaphors, I will give her that, but the metaphors, it's like she finds something to describe the characters as and finds 100 different ways to say it. It's like 100 different metaphors all saying the same exact thing. All great metaphors, highlight worthy, but it's like, girl, I get it. Like in the first book, Alistair is described to be like a shadowy figure, like, okay, it was way too dramatic and poetic, it just came out of nowhere, but okay, whatever. Like, I see how he is a shadowy figure within the other books. Like, he's always kind of around and always watching out for his friends in like a shadowy, dark, mysterious way. But in the first book, it was just kind of like shoved down our throats. Like, he's shadowy. Like, okay, I get it. The second book, Rook is described over and over again in many different ways to be like the devil, like a devilish character, and Sage is like, she's got two different metaphors and whatnot. Like she's been described as the rising of the phoenix, and she's also been described as like the angel to his devil type of thing. And it was described over and over again a million times, a million different metaphors, in a million different ways, but still I did enjoy the second book so much. I really, really loved it. Okay, so anyways, I said, now this is what I'm looking for when I ask for dark romance. Besides the repetition of metaphors within the writing, this book was phenomenal. I loved every bit of it. The main couple was perfect with how their romance came about. The darkness of the romance and the darkness of the characters and plot were spot on. The guys all being psycho murderers, now this is dark, sign me up. The girls naturally and genuinely becoming friends, not because of their boyfriends, but because of their own connections. I absolutely loved. And that was a big thing for me because I know I keep comparing, but whatever. In the Devil's Night series, the girls are only connected through the boyfriends. Like I don't feel like the girls have a real connection within each other. Some of them do, but not as a whole really. But within this series, the girls all became, like in the Hollow Boys series, the girls all became friends naturally without the guys. Like they started becoming friends. Like the first two girls became friends in the first book, and then the third girl became friends with them in the second book, and it had nothing to do with the guys. Like they all became friends on their own. They met on their own without the guys. I don't know, I just really loved the way the girls naturally and genuinely became best friends. So that I greatly appreciated. I'm a girl's girl, so I loved that. Okay, now let's talk about the third book. Oh, and did I say the second book is called The Truths We Burn? So the first book is The Lies We Steal, second book is The Truths We Burn, and the third book is called The Blood We Crave. So now the third book is told in two parts. This couple gets two books for reasons that are beyond me, but here we are. So this one was definitely my least favorite within the series so far. I know a lot of, well, I don't know this, but it seems like a good amount of people really like the third book, but I think there's also a good amount of people who feel the same way as I do about the third book. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know. I did not believe in the romance between these two at all, and it wasn't giving like, you know, dark romance, bully romance, toxic, scary, psycho, you know, whatever. That's what we expect in a dark romance, but this was giving me borderline, girl, call the cops. Okay, call the police. Okay, call the police. I'm actually worried for your sanity and for your safety, okay? This one was about, what are their names? Lyra and Thatcher. Okay, so this is what I said. 2 stars is too harsh, but I truly cannot give this a 3-star. I for sure was not the target audience for this one. Thatcher was not an all-in MMC that I could like within any romance. I love him as a side character in the other books, the brooding psycho killer best friend. Loved that. But as a love interest who insists repeatedly on how much he wants to kill the girl he's falling for, it doesn't make sense to me. Like he kept bringing up how he wanted to murder her. It's a long story. They have a backstory, these two, and it's an interesting backstory. Like he constantly was talking about how much he wanted to murder her and all these things, and she was into it. Like I don't understand, because they have a backstory, these two, like a backstory from childhood, and I liked the backstory though. I liked it. It was intriguing. It was dark, very, very dark, but I liked it. It was interesting. But present day, yeah, this one has the stalker trope, and I won't say who's the stalker, but it's not Actually, I don't mind. Actually, I don't mind the stalker trope in this, but it's just everything else. Yeah. And this one didn't really have. This one didn't focus enough on the plot either, which I guess is why it's gonna have a part 2. The ending I did not like. But the ending does make me want to know what happens next, so whatever. Anyways, where was I in my review? I said, oh, next thing I said was, what in the hell? The bloody sexual scenes, yuck. Yeah, the bloody sexual scenes were not it, but whatever. Some people who love dark romance may appreciate it, but not me. And then I said, Lyra, girl, if you don't, it's kind of stupidly written, her wanting to be a murderer. her being the female main character, she wants to be a murderer. Okay, that's just she wants the guy to teach her how to be a murderer, even though he constantly talks about him murdering her. This one was so odd. But then again, the dark romance girlies, they like this type of stuff. So I'm not the target audience for this third book specifically. Anyways, I said eye roll. We'll see in part 2. So yeah. So first book, on Goodreads, I give the first book 3 stars, even though it's really a 2.9 stars. Second book, I gave 5 stars on Goodreads, but it's really a 4.5. And then third book, I gave 2 stars on Goodreads, and it's a 2-star. I'll read the fourth book eventually, because I was reading these, I was listening to these on audiobook, and the fourth audiobook isn't out on Scribd for whatever reason, and I'm not gonna buy the audiobook on Audible, and I'm not gonna buy the ebook, and I don't want to buy the physical book either. I'm sorry, so I'm just gonna wait until the audiobook is free on Scribd. Well, free within my membership that I pay for. Okay, but yeah, overall I am really enjoying this dark romance series. I can't wait to start the fourth book, honestly. Anywho, even with all the bad things I said about it, I'm still very much intrigued. Did my camera just cut off? I hope not. Anyways, let me hurry up, I'm almost done. So right now, I did try starting to read, I have started reading Throne of the Fallen by Kerri Maniscalco. The thing is, I've seen this cover, I've seen this book around, but I never thought to pick it up. I had no thoughts on it at all. And I saw one review recently on TikTok, and I don't know, that one review kind of just sold me. The girl that was talking about the book, she seemed to really enjoy it. She didn't give any spoilers or anything, but the little bit that she said was kind of enough for me, so I just bought it. I know I have a whole TBR of other fantasy books that I need to read, but here I am. So this is a fantasy romance. I can't really tell you what it's about because I just started it, and the beginning, I love the writing. Absolutely love the writing so far, but it's one of those kind of whimsical writings in a way, and so I can't really tell you what it's about. Oh yes I can. So far I know that it's about this man named Envy. He's from a different realm, I guess, a fantasy realm or something, and he's one of the 7 deadly sins, and all the other deadly sins are his brothers, and he has to do a game because a curse has been lifted or something. So he has to do a game now in order to save his land and to save his people. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the main woman in the book, she's human so far. You never know, maybe she's not. I feel like she's probably not, I don't know. But she works somewhere. Where does she work? Oh, she's a painter. And he goes to her because he needs her to paint something for him in order to continue on within the game. And she refuses because she said it's something cursed or something dangerous or something evil, whatever, that he wants her to paint, and she just doesn't want to paint it because it's some bad energy type of thing. So yeah, that's what it is so far, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I would have been able to at least been halfway through if I didn't have a job. Working is just so frustrating because I work a lot and I feel like I have no work-life balance anymore because of how demanding my job is. But I mean, it's not demanding, but it is demanding. I don't know, working in corporate America has been a lot. Anyways, but yeah, if I didn't have to work, I could have just spent my days reading, and I would have been, at least halfway through. I'm really, really enjoying it. So yeah, the audiobook is really amazing, but I'm in kind of a mood, kind of an era where I don't want to listen to audiobooks right now. I just want to read physically. So I've been going back and forth, listening to the audiobook, reading it physically, but I think I'm just going to stick to reading it physically for right now and then get back to the audiobook later. I don't know. But yeah, this is a chunker, so I probably will have to get back to that audiobook because it is very long. Yeah, but I really like this cover. I think it's really beautiful. I never even thought anything of the cover before. I literally had no thoughts on this book, but here I am. I'm very much intrigued, and I think I'm going to continue with this, or I may start a different, shorter fantasy romance that I can get through quicker. I don't know. We shall see. I just discovered that I can access my Kindle books on the computer now. I did not know that that was possible, so I might do some ebook reading at work, and I don't have this. I have this on ebook, but I have it within my Apple Books on my phone, like the Books app. I don't have it within my Kindle, and is there a way to connect that? I don't think so. So I won't be able to read it on the computer at work during downtime. So I may start a different book while I'm at work, even though I want to focus on this one. I don't really want to read multiple books at a time, but I may have to do that. Anyways, whatever. I just can't function when I'm not deep into a book. Like, I think that's our toxic trait as readers. We just constantly need to be reading or we feel crazy. Or maybe that's just me. Anyways, okay, I've been talking so much. This video is going to be much longer than I intended. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is my summer reading update for now. And I will see you in the next video. Sorry that I didn't post for 2 weeks. Anyways, I'm very hot, so I'm going to go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.